Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for being here today. It's really a privilege for us. We couldn't think of a better opportunity and venue to really officially kick off the expansion of PayPal in the region. So what I want to do today is very easy. The first one is I want to give you a bit more information about who we are, put a face on the name of PayPal, who we are and what we do, of course, in the region. And the second thing is also share with you our vision for the future of payments, where we see the payments going in terms of trends and what we're doing about it in terms of innovation. And the last part is really focused at the audience of the banking partners that we have. I want to give you some examples of concrete partnerships that we have with the banking community around the world and things that we could be doing together in this region. And then I will take some questions on this. So the first thing about PayPal, I won't ask, how many PayPal customers we have in the room, but what I want to share with you at this stage is just a few, a few facts and figures about our business. So the first thing is obviously, as you kindly said, a global brand. Well, we are still a very young company. We've been created about 10 years ago. So still very young, but we've been riding the wave of the e-commerce growth. And as you can see, we don't see any limitation right now in the growth of e-commerce. Today, we represent about 18% of the total e-commerce globally, with 115 billion of payments processed every year. This was 2011 numbers. And we are growing around 30–35%. And the four assets that really we have developed over the years is first a global footprint. And I think this is key, obviously, when you get into the payment business, is to have this global presence so that you can serve customers all around the world, but also bring customers to all the merchants that you have. The second thing is the customer base, obviously. So now we have about 100 million, actually it's 111 million active consumers in our database. This is very important, not because only it's driving the payment volumes, but also because it generates a lot of data and information about their usage of payments, about what they buy, where they buy, how they buy it. And this is obviously the future of payments. It's not about processing a transaction, it's about how you can leverage the data around the transaction. The third part is the connections that we have to the payment networks. We have not built the payment networks that we use. We leverage the existing payment networks. Our goal is truly to leverage all the existing payment networks, all the existing local payment methods, and bring them into the wallet. And the last one, and I believe truly the key one for PayPal, is around security. Security is still the key factor to bring people to e-commerce. It's also the key element that we need to invest upon to secure the transaction, but also to bring protection to the consumers. And in fact, if you look at how PayPal works today, you could see PayPal as a gigantic database. This is what we are, actually, a gigantic database of customers. So you go online, you create your PayPal account with just an email or a mobile phone number, you use a password or a PIN code, and you create your account in a few seconds, really. And what you do then is obviously, as you can see here, on the left, when you're a consumer, you link it to a payment method, to a funding source. 95% of our volumes in terms of payments come from a banking instrument. They come from a direct bank account, or they come from a bank card. Credit or debit, it's not the problem, but they come from a bank funded instrument, okay? So we truly work with the banking industry on that. On the right, you see what the merchant does. So, people just exchange money from one PayPal account to the other, creating balance, using that balance online, for instance. And then you need to withdraw that money, I would say, into the real physical world. And then what we do is obviously put in place systems so that we enable withdrawal to all the local banks in the world with all the currencies. At the moment, we only have 25 currencies. We plan to have more. And at the moment, we have 15,000 connections to banking partners. Okay? So we still have some room to improve our service, but this is what we are doing slowly but surely around the globe. So this is really how PayPal works. It's very simple, and it has not changed really over the last 10 years. What are we doing here in the region? My job, you know, as the general manager for continental Europe, Russia, Middle East, and Africa, is just to look at opportunities for growth. We need to grow as a company. It's extremely important for us. And for us, the growth is to grow at 2 to 3 times the market rates. So when I look at opportunities for growth around the globe, I see indeed the Middle East as one reservoir of growth for the next 5 years. When I see that is I look at different factors. I look, you know, at the state of the different economies in terms of diversification, in terms of investment into the services. This is a very important sign for us of the readiness of the countries. We look at the mobile subscription. How many people use their mobile phone to access the internet? And indeed, this region is more advanced than other regions that I have in terms of access to internet through mobile. I look at the number of internet users. And actually here, this is just 110 million. But what I look at is, what is the proportion of young people in that total population? The young people that will be the customers, you know, coming over the next 5 years, because this is the next wave of growth for us. And obviously, I look at the growth of e-commerce. So when I look at all these factors, I truly see the opportunity in this region for us. So this is why we've decided to invest in the region by setting up a team, obviously a team of business development on the ground, but also teams in the US and in other parts of the world to start localizing our product and start working with banks. These are the countries that we want to focus on for this year and next year. So for me, really, I have a 3 to 5 years horizon, but really these are the countries that we want to localize over the next months. And we've started. So as you can see, especially in the Gulf, there's a lot of focus from our team. And we are already in business in the region. We already have 1 million active buyers coming from this region. 1 million active without doing anything, I would say, is a good result for us. It's a very good starting point. And what we see is obviously the growth, 500 million business, it's not bad, but it's still just scratching the surface of what's available. And when we look at the different merchants, obviously what is truly unique about the region is the importance of cross-border, so all your consumers buying from abroad, obviously physical goods, but also digital goods. And that one is really critical. The growth in digital goods, businesses like Facebook or Zynga, I mean, you have to realize that Zynga is a company that did not exist 3 years ago. And now it's a multi-billion company listed. Obviously, it's one of our, top merchants around the world just by selling, virtual tractors on Facebook. I mean, nobody could have thought about this, right? And a lot of the users are coming from the region, actually. And then, obviously, what is more interesting, that's the line below, is the start of big regional merchants in the region. So you can see Souk, for instance, or Cobone. This is very interesting for us because as these merchants are getting ready to serve, the consumers across the region, they face the same problem that other merchants have faced in the US or in Asia or in Western Europe, is how do I accept payment online? How do I provide security and trust to my consumers? And this is also why they start to use PayPal. And I would say, more than this, we want also to be innovative and start solving problems specific to that region, like cash on delivery, for instance. Can we provide a better service to the consumer so that they don't have to use, for instance, cash on delivery, but really a more mobile experience? So this is truly who we are, what we do, and what we're doing so far in the region. So this is our starting point. Now, let's talk about our vision. So as you can see, our primary business is e-commerce, but this has changed a lot. I will just give you one number, which is not in the presentation, and it's not something that really we write in public documents, but just one number. When I look at the share of mobile payments in my business, I take all the payments coming from my region. And what is the share of these payments coming from a mobile device? I mean, you know, a phone or an iPad. In March 2011, it was 0.6%. So really something I was not even looking in my weekly reports about payment transactions. In March 2012, the share of mobile payments was 5.6%. Then you start to notice, I've never seen that, and I've been at PayPal for 8 years. We have never seen that type of growth coming. So mobile is already here, truly. We've talked about it for years. I do see the volumes ramping up extremely quickly. We have numbers that not even our merchants see around the importance of mobiles when it comes to their sales. So, you know, I spend a lot of time with merchants and we explain them, you know, do you realize that, you know, sometimes more than 10% of your sales are coming from a mobile device? Oh, so they're all excited. What does it mean exactly? It means that they have not mobilized their website, for instance. It means that they are losing sales, actually, because their website is still in the old paradigm of the desktop or laptop e-commerce. This is not working anymore. When you know you're browsing online with that type of device or even an iPad, you need something much simpler, okay? When you're spending millions to do email marketing, and actually 75% of the emails now are open on a mobile device, and you click on the link and you go to nowhere, this is money that is wasted. So for us, the point there is we do see the numbers, and all our strategy is to push mobile more aggressively. We cannot wait for the switch to mobile usage. We have to anticipate mobile usage. So this is all we do in terms of business development, in terms of sales, and in terms of product development. But the thing is, mobile is not about payments. If you think that mobile is just about giving a solution to process a payment, there's not enough money to be made out of that. And the second thing is you're not really solving a big problem for the consumer. What we do see is that with the push to mobile, you need a more comprehensive solution. You need, you know, not just to process payments, you need to offer a loyalty solution to your consumers. You need to offer services, you know, for scanning the products and having a checkout in the physical world. You need to offer in-store price comparison through your mobile device. You need to offer shopping lists. These are all features, product features that users are starting to use. At the moment, you have independent providers. What we're doing is actually consolidating all these services into our wallet. You need to use, obviously, store location and geolocalization so that you know where is your consumer, in which shop, what is he buying, so that you can serve him, you know, with coupons, for instance, and special offers. This is truly what mobile is about. And for us, what it means is there's no way that even for us we can innovate in every dimension of that. So what we're doing is actually, with the merchants, we're splitting the value chain of all these services in different chunks. You need to be able, you know, to offer a solution to the merchant that comes before the payment. So this is what we call demand generation. So we will be targeting, you know, consumers with special offers. How do we do that? Because we have the data about them. What do they buy? How frequently, etc. Then there is the conversion. So how do you provide engagement in the shop? The search, the price comparison, all of that means that, obviously, PayPal is not just about e-commerce anymore. It's just about commerce. So the second drive for us beyond mobile is to go to the physical world, to go to the offline world. And on this, obviously, we've not done this ourselves. Last year, 2011, we have spent $1.2 billion of acquisitions, buying companies that specifically deliver all these services. Our job now this year is to put them all together. And obviously, when I look at this region in particular, some of the technology we can use is obviously scalable. Other services will not work until we find the best local partner. So that will be our job as well, to drive local innovation and to leverage local startups, local innovators to provide the same service. The third one, our mission is still to enable small merchants to accept payments. So this is PayPal here. So PayPal here, this is PayPal here. I will show it to you after if you're interested. So basically, you know, this is a piece of plastic. It's made in China, cost a few dollars. You take your phone, you plug it, and now I can take your card payments. I can swipe the card, and I can accept card payments. Right? This is very easy. This is our job to make it easy. This is our job, obviously, to distribute that through partners to all the small merchants in the country so that they can start accepting electronic payments instead of cash. We need to give them a better way, an easy way to do that. So this is the type of innovation that now we are rolling out, not just in the US, but also in APAC, and now in my region as well. Obviously, as you can imagine, we truly believe, you know, that the future is going to chip and pin. It's not just, you know, swiping a card and signing with your finger actually on the iPhone. It's going to chip and pin, and we're working on that. But this is the type of new product that we've launched and that we are rolling out. So the last part, really to conclude in a few minutes, how can we work together? And when I mean together is us with the different banks. So this is a list really of all our banking partners. And, you know, I understand, you know, sometimes we have to be a bit schizophrenic about are we friends, are we enemy? Hey, guys, we are whatever you want, as long as we can have clear business objectives. The point is that today we are working with all these financial institutions or card networks around the world. As you can see, there's no key player from the region yet. So I hope we don't have to wait for another year before I can announce, you know, some big partners in the region. In fact, we're already in contact with some of you, but this is truly what we're looking for. And I want to give you some concrete examples of what we're doing. Let's take, for instance, what we're doing in South Africa. South Africa, incredible economy, really in terms of sophistication, etc. I mean, you have great players there. What we've done is actually we've partnered with one of the leading banks in the region, First National Bank, and we've created together an exclusive service that enables all the small merchants in South Africa to go to FNB and withdraw all the money they receive on PayPal through an FNB bank account. It's very easy to do, actually. What's in it for them? Innovation. Being at the front line of innovation, providing new services to their merchants or prospective merchants that no other banks can offer, start investing in developing e-commerce. And what's in it for us? This is a great country. We could not have made it alone, and this is the type of partnership where I prefer to have a very solid and great partner instead of trying to do everything ourselves, and then it takes years. So that's one example. The second one is Discover. So obviously a big card network. One of the first features you need to offer your customers is the ability to send money directly from their bank account. And I believe you know that beyond security, convenience is key for the consumers. So what we've done with Discover is just, hey, why don't you use the PayPal service? Why don't you use Discover, okay, all the services you have through them, partner with PayPal, use our solution so that you can just put an email address and send money directly from your account. So basically, we've partnered with them so that they can leverage our technology and send, for all the Discover customers who are not PayPal customers, all of them, but they can use PayPal and send money just with an email address to our 111 million accounts. That's another type of examples. How do we do that? We provide the technology and the APIs to our partner. Another one, this is a bank in Singapore. Their problem was very easy, and maybe for you will recognize that problem, is that how do I really convert my customers to online banking, bring them online, and also address their fear of using cards for e-commerce payments? Well, the solution was very easy. It's like, They can open a PayPal account and top up the PayPal account directly from their bank account. They don't even need to use a card payments, a card instrument to link it to their PayPal account. They can just transfer money from a bank account to a PayPal account. This is really the most secure way, the most efficient way to control your spend online. And again, we provide the APIs, we provide the technical support, and this is very easy to do, and we work together on the marketing. And the last one is La Caixa. You know, Western Europe, I come from Western Europe, this is not really known for innovation, but you do have a few banks who are truly leading the way, and La Caixa is one of them in Barcelona. And what they've done is basically, you know, through their online banking, completely integrated PayPal in their online banking so that their customers can directly open through online banking a PayPal account, register their card, and they're good to go in a few clicks to do online commerce. Obviously, you have revenue share in place. So these are a few examples of banking partnerships that we have in place and that we would like to replicate in the region. So on that, this is my really last note. So I would like, again, you know, to thank you for this opportunity to speak in front of you. And these are the people, Elias and Laurent, who are making this happen, you know, in terms of business development in the region. So you have their email address. I am there myself. You can just reach us very easily. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laurent. That was fascinating. Before we invite our VIPs to go to open the exhibition, if we have some questions for Laurent, he's agreed to take some questions. I believe we have a microphone on the floor. Probably have time for 2 questions. So.
Good morning, Botir Afjaran from Technobase Singapore. We represent biggest payment collection network in Egypt. You mentioned that you are targeting this country as one of your potential destinations for this year. I just wonder, this country is a 95% cash community. How are you thinking to acquire this kind of complicated market? Thank you.
So it's a very complicated question, and I don't have any easy answer. So the first thing is, Egypt today, for me, is a mystery in the sense that if I look at all the countries of PayPal, you cannot even open a PayPal account in Egypt. And nobody knows why. So my first job is just to make sure that first we bring the service to the existing, you know, potential consumers so that they can open a PayPal account. That's one. Okay, we are going to do that over the next 6 months. Second thing is to find a local partner so that we can enable the basic services of receiving money, withdrawing money. Then we will talk about cash on delivery. So cash payments, for instance, you mentioned, you know, Egypt, 95% is cash. This is not the only country. Russia is exactly the same, and I spend a lot of time there. The point is, when it comes to payments, it's extremely difficult and very long to change payment habits in the population. Very, very long. And it's not just technology. Technology is there. Yeah, we can roll out, you know, all the technology we want, the new services. You need to have a really compelling value prop for the consumer. At the moment, what we're doing is tackling cash, the cash economy, just for e-commerce. At least tackling the problem of people are buying online, then they wait for the delivery to pay cash. This is the first problem we want to solve. And, you know, this is a $1 billion problem. So that's the first one we want to solve in 2013. Then the rest of the cash, we'll see. We'll see. I believe that in these countries, it's not going to come through the adoption of cards. We can leapfrog that and go directly to mobile. Directly to mobile.
Yeah, just a quick question. Why took you so long to come to the region?
It's a good question. So, give you the best answer I can. 2004, we opened in Europe 3 people. 2006, I opened in France 1 people. 2008, we opened, you know, in Scandinavia, Greater Europe, Turkey, and Russia, right? We start. So we've been busy, right? Now that we have the teams in place, the business in place, we are coming. I think there's another element. For us as a company, we see that e-commerce is still growing very fast, but it's not enough for us if we want to continue our growth rate. So what has changed in our thinking is, listen, we do see the mobile numbers. Where is the mobile population? Where are the new consumers? And really, I'm talking here for the next 5 years. And this, when you have this new logic, you don't just look at e-commerce, but mobile, and the next 5 years, you see Middle East and North Africa really coming up like, this is the region we need to invest. And then, especially, you know, for a US-based company, the logic is starting to shift, and now we're starting to get the resources, focus, and attention to this region. So this is why.